Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft. And I'm mocking, giving you my views, thoughts, and opinions. And today we're looking at Bengal. He put out a new mock draft this week, so best believe we gotta take a look at that sucker. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I love having that nice football discourse with y'all. Tomorrow you'll see edge rushers and running back prospect rankings for the midseason coming out tomorrow. We have the stream set up for Saturday. Might not happen. I might be having a baby, so I'll let you know. But let's go ahead, get into this. Of course, we got Underdog Fantasy as our sponsor. Check them out if you like doing weekly fantasy, player prop bets, college pick'ems. They got other sports on there as well. Use promo code Broshmo when you sign up. They hook you up to start your betting journey. But do please bet responsibly. So Bengal goes by 4x4x4. If you're not familiar with these videos, I assume everyone is. Regardless, this is the current draft order. Bryce Young going to the Lions. No brainer for me. I know some Lions fans are like, I don't think there's a first round quarterback in this class, or I don't like Bryce Young. And it's like, Bryce Young is the top quarterback in this class. Suck it up. As long as you're picking first, you're probably picking Bryce Young. The Texans. CJ Stroud. I get on board with this. If you're picking two, you're picking whoever didn't pick, like whatever quarterback wasn't pick at one. Listen, Davis Mills ain't stopping me. From taking another quarterback. You might be like, oh, he might have something there in terms of he might be an all right starter. You're looking for, when you have the ability in the top 5 to take some of the top quarterbacks, you typically should, because you're looking for that guy that can be elite. You're looking for that guy that could be the next Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. You're like, well, not everyone ends up like that, but you're taking that shot. You could say the same thing for any other position, insert here. Well, what if Will Anderson ain't all that good? Honestly, would have been better to take a bigger shot at a more valuable position. That's my take on it. Bengal seems to agree. Will Levis going to the Panthers. We all can acknowledge the Panthers need a quarterback. We can. Some people are much higher on Will Levis than I am and probably see him in this range. I'm not gonna make a fit about it. If you like Will Levis, you like Will Levis. It happens, dude. It happens. I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm just saying I disagree with it. Right now, we won't know till like 2-3 years from now. So, is what it is. And if you're the Panthers, you definitely want to be in this quarterback discussion. And if you like Will Levis, you go ahead and take him. I don't disagree with that whatsoever. I wouldn't take Will Levis because personally, I don't like Will Levis in this range, but I get why people like him. The guy's got the upside. He's got an NFL arm. He comes from a very pro-style offense with NFL receiving concepts and such. He's worked under 2 offensive coordinators the last 2 years that previously worked in the NFL. Actually, his one from last year is currently the OC for the Rams. So it's like there's a lot going in his way. It's just like a lot going for him. He's got plus mobility. There's a lot going for him. It's just like, do you trust him to become a better decision maker? That's really, I think, what it boils down to. Will Anderson going to the Eagles, utter steal. I think you don't. It's a no-brainer. You don't think twice about it. You go ahead and send that pick in. You run with it. All right, let's get to the next part of this draft as we got the Texans, Myles Murphy. Jalen Carter. All right, so I do know. I watched this video prior. So Jalen Carter takes a little stumble in this. Bengal acknowledges he's likely a top 10 pick. It's just kind of how the order went. I think I would have taken Jalen Carter over guys like Myles Murphy, who I love. That's my dude. And then Brian Brazee. I get it. The Texans, they need pass rush, mainly at that edge spot. But Jalen Carter's, I think, the best pick here. Again, bit difference in opinion. Brian Brazee. This was more of a what can Brazee do in terms of he could be that 5 tech. He could be that 3-4 end. That 3 tech. He could do a lot of things for the defense compared to Jalen Carter. I'm not saying Jalen Carter is not versatile. It's just like more so this is a guy you're playing on the interior, while Brian Brazee is a guy you actually can kick up like over top or outside of the tackle. He's got a little bit of versatility like that. So I understand that if you, again, you're just getting into like, what does this team really need for a schematic standpoint? I'd still take Jalen Carter just because of the talent, but is what it is. Olu Fashanu going to the Steelers. So I love Fashanu. I think he could definitely elevate himself to a top 10 pick. Like his draft stock has literally skyrocketed to that point. Thing is, what he needs to work on is that run blocking. And with the Steelers, I feel like the Steelers will be looking for a much better run blocker at the tackle spot. Oh my gosh, excuse me. Holy moly. So that leads me to like think that maybe the two guys that first come to mind are Broderick Jones, who comes from that Georgia run-heavy offense, or even Peter Skoronski, which there's going to be questions about his is he a long-term tackle in the NFL, or is he like a guard, center? Is he an interior prospect? There's going to be questions there with that. So I would maybe lean Broderick Jones. I would honestly, if this is me, I'm probably taking Keely Ringo. But I get it. For Shanu, like projection-wise, out of this world. Peter Skoronski going to the Jags. Makes sense. I think they need some more additions along that offensive line. Peter Skoronski gives you that versatility, whether you want him at tackle, guard. So I agree with that for the most part. And then on to the next set of picks. We got Paris Johnson going to the Raiders. Raiders could use some more offensive line help. They've been basically this revolving door of just shuffling their offensive line. So Paris Johnson would help the Raiders in that regard. And then we got Jalen Duncan going to the Bears. I'm not a big fan of Duncan. I see him more as a top 75 guy. I get it. There's some people that absolutely love Jalen Duncan, and that's fine. For the Bears, it's like, for me, I think the more pressing need is on the interior. You look at that center spot. I'm not taking center at 10. For me, this would probably be Quentin Johnston, but the receiver at TCU. But I understand if you think you could upgrade from Braxton Jones. There we go. I think Braxton Jones has shown enough as a rookie to at least warrant one to move forward with him. Like, he's been a really good run blocker. The hiccups have been in pass protection, but I mean, 36-inch arms. Like, he can be that athlete that can get it done. It's just rookies typically struggle their first year. We saw from Andrew Thomas, Evan Neal, Kemek Wanu. They've had their struggles. Charles Croston start the year too hot, though he's kind of cleaned it up since. So typically rookie tackles struggle in their first year. I feel like we'll get a better feel on it depending on how Jones plays down the stretch. So I'd leave this open for discussion. Regardless, it feels like it has to be offense, right? Excuse me. Though I would find it hard to pass on Jalen Carter with either of those two picks. If I'm the Raiders, I'm taking Carter. If I'm the Bears, I might be taking Carter. I really might. Also, if you think Eberflus is kind of a defensive-minded guy, I think he would love to get a top 4 prospect, especially on the defensive line. I think he would love to bring that in. Dolphins, Keely Ringo. I actually really like this. He's a great scheme fit. Byron Jones, likely going to be a cap casualty next year. Nick Needham is a guy who works best in the slot, so getting Ringo opposite of Howard, ideal. I love it. I like this pick. Let's keep this sucker moving. We're flying. All right. On to. There we go. Tyree Wilson going to the Eagles. This is a cat that it's going to go a lot higher than, at least than I thought. Because you look at the movement skills. Great movement skills at his size, 275. He's got the ideal length. He's got really good bend. He's like an off-brand version of Trevon Walker at this point. He's never going to go as high as Trevon Walker, but even better, the production's already been there with him. So if you feel like if you're the Cardinals and you don't want to go in on this corner class, at least on day one, like that edge is probably the next best answer. And then Cam Smith actually goes to Washington with pick 2. Will Jackson once out. Kendall Fuller's been mad this year. Honestly, Benjamin St. Jude's, he's been operating mainly out of the slot, but he's looked pretty good. But yeah, the secondary, like the corner position needs some help, so I'm cool with that. If you don't think there's a quarterback here you would be willing to take, then that's fine. Quentin Johnston, I love that pick for the Packers. Never going to happen. It's the Packers. They don't pick receivers in the first round, though they should. But Quentin Johnston, man, kind of gives you Aaron, what can we do for you? Let's get you a guy that has a very similar play style to Devontae Adams. That's not a comp. Just going to put that out there. It ain't a comp. But very similar play style to Adams. You give him Johnston. Honestly, I wouldn't mind guys that are better separators of the football. So like Jordan Addison would be a thought here as well. But I don't mind either of those guys. The Colts, they go Broderick Jones. Again, if you're not in place, if you don't think there's a quarterback worthy here, then yeah, go other spots. Left tackle makes sense. They have yet to sure that up. Broderick Jones is the next guy off the board. All right, we're going to keep this train rolling. We got Felix Anudike Uzama going to the Patriots. Get that edge rusher opposite of Matt Judon would be ideal. This cat has a very versatile play style because he plays at Kansas State, plays in those 3-man fronts of the Big 12. Very strong, but he's got good bend. He's been very productive the last 2 years, so I believe it. And then Trent Simpson going to the Bengals. I think Jermaine Pratt's a free agent, so getting a guy who's really good out in space makes all the sense in the world to pair up with Logan Wilson. Simpson being the first linebacker off the board here might be him. Henry To'oTo'o, I struggle with being like the guys that are actually right now I would consider in the first round. This one, though, is the most interesting pick, I think. Hendon Hooker going to the Patriots. You get that heir apparent to Tom Brady, or if Tom Brady doesn't come back next year, you get a guy you could just install immediately in the offense. My hiccups with Hooker is, yes, he's an older prospect, and typically whatever you see from a physical standpoint, it is what it is, and he doesn't have a elite NFL arm. He just doesn't. His ball placement isn't ideal. Like, his accuracy underneath is all over the place. He plays in an offense that really, really affords him a lot of space to throw the football. It creates a lot of space to do that. When he go, like, the dude throws at one speed underneath and over the intermediate, and honestly he's got really good touch on those intermediate passes. It's when he goes deep, balls tend to sail on him. The ball placement isn't always ideal. So Hendon Hooker, there is a bit of a ceiling when it comes to a physical standpoint. While yeah, he's a very good runner, I think he does his best work in the pocket. So it's like, I don't know, man. Honestly, you get to this area of the draft, you look at Hendon Hooker, who's this borderline, probably like top 50 prospect at this point, and you start to consider guys that it's like, you know what? He could come in and at least challenge Kyle Trask. He could get the job done. So it's like, I think Hendon Hooker is a guy that can sneak into late first round. Oh, man. Nose is stuffy. Excuse me. We got Kayshon Boutte. Lions fans must be like, oh, my gosh, our defense sucks so much. Listen, Lions fans, use free agency. Use free agency. Come to the draft and just get the best talent available on the board at positions of value. And if Kayshon Boutte happens to be that guy, then that's great. Then you have a phenomenal receiving core of Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, and Kayshon Boutte for your now new quarterback, Bryce Young, already with a phenomenal offensive line and a very competent backfield. Like, that's a scary offense. Well, our defense could be giving us so many points. It's like, rookies won't save your defense off the bat. What you got to go through free agency, bring in these vets. And then look at, you know what? I have no problem if you're the Lions. Look in day 2, day 3 for options to upgrade your defense and to develop. So just calm down. Like, Lions fans think like, you just take the best talent afforded. Like, you know what? Like, I'm not mad that this is Butte. It could have been a defensive pick, and I still would have been happy. But don't be mad that you're getting a really good player. That's all I'm saying. Lions fans, man, they hot. They heated. But I have fun discussions with y'all in the comment section. Gervin Dexter going to the Chargers. Their run defense is poo-poo. And, Gervin Dexter would be a good addition. He's kind of that next defensive interior player, along with Siaki Ika out of Baylor. That would probably be going in this range, so I don't mind that. If you're the Chargers, there's a variety of different spots you could go. There's Jordan Addison, who goes with a few picks later. You could go, again, tackle. Some of y'all try to tell me tackle ain't a problem. Calm down. Y'all can upgrade. You could always go with corner position, and cornerback talent's never the wrong answer. So regardless, I think there's a lot of different ways they could go. No Michael Mayer. I'm trying to remember if Michael Mayer even goes in the first round in this. I guess we'll find out. Christian Gonzalez going to the Ravens. More cornerback help. I think Marcus Peters is a free agent after the 2023 season. So getting a guy that on the boundary, at least for the long term, I like that. Cameron Ward going to the Seahawks here. So I agree with the sentiment that Geno could be this bridge quarterback. Bring him back on a value deal where maybe you sign him for 2 or 3 years, though you're paying a lot of that money in the first year. And then you could grab a guy who needs time to develop here with your second pick. Cameron Ward. Bengal also brings up Anthony Richardson. I think both those make sense. Cameron Ward, I really think, though, ends up coming back. Still a bit raw. There's been a lot of ups and downs with him this season, but there's been a lot of, it's been encouraging from what we saw, but I don't think encouraging enough for him to declare. And then Tennessee Titans, they get a separator. I love this. Pairing Jordan Addison up with Treylon Burks. I love that. With all the high tackles off the board, it's kind of like it's the right call. Jordan Addison, this pick, I think, is a good pick for the Titans. All right, on to the next part of the draft here. We're looking at pick 22, Noah Sewell going to the Jets. I just don't think Noah Sewell's top 10 or top linebacker in this class. And I don't know if I'd put a first round pick on him, at least right now. A lot of the problems from last year that I was concerned about are still problems. Like the coverage prowess, I don't think it's ever going to be great. But he needs to be more of a sure tackler, especially in coverage. Like, if you're not going to be like this guy that can make splash plays on the ball and coverage at linebacker, you got to at least be able to minimize the damage of plays underneath. He doesn't do that. He's not, like, the missed tackle rate is just far too high. I feel better about him top 50 because the dude does move, except he's stupid strong, moves exceptionally well for being 253 pounds. So, Jets, yeah, linebacker would be a good pick. I just don't think this is the right spot to take it. Jets go Jackson Smith and Jigba. I'm a bit indifferent because CeeDee Lamb kind of holds down the slot there for the Cowboys. Not to say CeeDee Lamb can't play the outside. He certainly can. So, I don't mind the receiver help. You got Gallup there. You don't know what you have in Jalen. Who was the cat from Alabama? South Alabama. Cowboys draft picks 2022. Excuse me. That's not what I'm looking for. I was gonna say Carter. It ain't Carter. It's Tolbert, Jalen Tolbert. There we go. But he's been a healthy scratch for the most part this whole season. Was it Semi Fajoko's more of a special teams guy? So, like, I added more depth at the receiver spot for the Cowboys. It makes sense. A guy with Jackson Smith and Jigba who can just create with the ball in his hands. You like that? I'm not in love with it, though. Joey Porter going to the Vikings. I like this. Just keep adding more competition to the cornerback spot with Patrick Peterson soon to be gone and away. up there in dog years anyway. You have Andrew Booth, but you don't know what you have yet. Andrew Booth, he's been beat up to start the year. And Cameron Dantzler's, honestly, like, I like him as a cornerback too. Also wouldn't mind him as a depth option. He's not bad. Like, he's been solid. So again, just adding more competition and talent to the cornerback room. Is cornerback's such a volatile position. I don't mind it. Eli Ricks going to the Chiefs. This is actually a really good scheme fit. A guy that can work and press. We've seen what injuries have done to the outside, the boundary corner position for the Chiefs. So just added more horses there. No problem with it. And then we got the final picks of the draft. Keep in mind, the Dolphins, they did forfeit their first round pick. But Brian Branch going to the Giants. And kind of Bengal acknowledges, boundary corner is a bigger priority. It's just there's no pick there. Really, the guys you're probably thinking of at this spot, maybe Clark Phillips is the first name to come to mind, but he's a bad fit for Wink Martindale's scheme. Brian Branch, great value at this point. Don't know if he actually fills a need, but it's fine. You're just getting talent in the secondary, guy that can play in the slot. He can play really any of the safety spots, box deep and such. So you're just getting a good player. I don't mind that. Bijan falling to the Bills is just a great value pick. Like, I think Bijan, I don't know where he's going to go, but he's going to go higher than this. It's kind of hard to try to project where these running backs go, especially if you're not someone who's high on running back value. But pairing him up with stinking James Cook, and then I guess eventually get off Devin Singletary and Zach Moss and get that now as your kind of your running back rotation. Like, that's kind of hot. And if you're the Bills, you're so good, you could afford to take luxury picks. The Eagles, Jahmyr Gibbs. This one also makes sense when you consider this is your second first-round pick. Miles Sanders is on a contract. This is his contract year. He will be gone after this season, so grabbing the next, or at least whoever you consider the next running back, makes sense. I just don't totally love the value, but it kind of is what it is. But you let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. As always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.